Hey, it's Travis Lane Jenkins. Welcome to episode number 100 of the Entrepreneurs Radio Show, a production of RockstarEntrepreneurNetwork.com. Wow, this is a super special episode for us because, of course, it's the 100th. And based on that, I've got two very special gifts for you. The first gift is my special guest has agreed to give a $500 program of his away to you, my listener, for free. Now, to give you a little background on this guest, I've spent more than $10,000 personally attending his programs, and everything he does is top notch. And what he teaches in this program will be extremely valuable for you and your business as you grow to reach your potential. And it really applies no matter what level of success that you've had, because it deals with a lot of inner things that directly tie to the level of success that we have in our life and in our business. Now, the second gift is the person that I'm going to connect you with. That's how much I think of him. He's that good. You'll feel the energy of the conversation we have as it gets going. Now, for those of you that don't know, I record the interview first, and then I'll come back and do the intro of the show so that I can speak about it in more of an intelligent way. That's how I know what's coming. So now, of course, you already know by the title of this episode that the rockstar entrepreneur that I'm going to connect you with today is Harv Eker. For those of you that may not know who Harv Eker is, he's the author of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, a wonderful book. If you hadn't read it, you need to read it. This book hit the #1 bestseller on New York Times, Wall Street Journal, USA Today, tons of recognition, lots of people highly recommending the book. In addition, he's also the founder of Peak Potentials Training Programs, one of the fastest growing personal success training companies in North America. In fact, it's not uncommon for him to have up to several thousand people in his audience at his live events. I know because I've been there. Now, I'm confident after you listen to this interview that you'll agree that Harv is absolutely brilliant, and he understands what it takes to help people become successful. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Harv.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Man, I'm excited about you coming and hanging out with us. Hey, listen, I don't know if you're familiar with kind of the format of the show, but one of the things that I try to do is get the background of everybody that comes on the show, because I feel like it's illustrative for other people that are on the similar journey. Do you mind sharing that story with how you become this rock star and extremely successful?
Well, I don't know that I'm a rock star, but, I guess, relating to the business side of it, I left school I left school after first year of college. Why? Because it wasn't going fast enough for me. I just wanted to be successful, okay?
Right.
And at that point in time, I didn't really care how I was going to be successful. I just wanted to be successful. And another way of putting that is I wanted to be a millionaire. And at that point in time in life, in those years, $1 million was a lot of money. And so I left school after first year. And I went out, in search of my holy grail. And from there, I think maybe a lot of your listeners can relate. I didn't hit the jackpot on the first try. I actually went through 12 businesses and 14 different jobs in the next decade, the next 10 years, and nothing worked for me.
Do you mean you started 12 businesses?
I started 12 different businesses.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I had 14 different jobs. Now, the thing about it, I'm not an employable kind of person. So that means, I could never see myself at a job for very long. So all the jobs I ever took were to get more involved in a business idea that I had. And I think, by the way, just as if I can take an aside here, I think that's a really, really great point for people who are involved in business now and starting a new business or just starting a business and when I say starting a new business, as entrepreneurs, a lot of us have many businesses that we start during our adult life. So, right. We have one for 3 or 4, then we're thinking about a new one. But I always would take these jobs and work for somebody else for anywhere from literally 1 week to 2 or 3 months to learn about the business before I started it. Okay. And I always felt that was a really, really strong point. It didn't work so good for me at the time because every business I started didn't work out well. And I never went bankrupt, but I never made any money either. And any money that I did make, it would be gone very shortly after that. So I had a very, a decade of complete struggle. And I cannot tell you, Travis, how disappointing and frustrated I was. I was disappointed in myself. I was embarrassed. When people asked, I would shudder. At one point in time, I didn't even want to go out of the house. I didn't want anyone to ask me what I did for a living, right? Because I was, what can I say? Well, I just busted out of my 4th business in a row this year and, whatever it was. And I read all the books. I was a big learner. I read the books. I went to the seminars. I went to the talks. And I was broke after broke after broke. Mm-hmm. And for me, I was very fortunate that I had to move back and just talk about how things work out for people. I had to move back into my parents' house because I had no money again. And so I lived in the basement of my parents' home. And my father played cards with this very, very, very wealthy man in the city. There was an old friend of his back from the old country and in Europe. And this guy owned pretty well every building in the city. He was a mega billionaire. But he was very, very, nonchalant. He was very cool. He never, and we didn't have a lot of money. So he played cards with him. He'd known me since I was a baby, and just as to say hello or something like that. And when I passed him from going up to the fridge and I saw him in the house, he said, "Oh, you're back again." And I wasn't. He says, "Your father tells me you're blowing your life up. You're not doing good." And I said, "Well, that's great. Nice to hear how proud he is of me," that type of thing. And he said, "Listen, I'm going to tell you one thing." And and most people, I was so egotistical at the time, so into being right, I would never listen to anybody. But this guy who, when he opened his mouth, I said, listen to this guy. And he said, if you want to be rich, you need to do what rich people do. Right. And you know what? It's so obvious, and I'd never heard that before. And so I as a younger guy, then I'm, by that time I'm in my, late 20s, and I'm going, well, okay, that's great. Well, what do rich people do? He says, that you have to find out for yourself. But they all seem to do about the same thing. So, he says, what do you want to be rich in? I said, business. He says, then you should find out what rich business people do. And so since I wasn't making any money anyways, I spent the next 6 months really studying and learning and putting together kind of points and principles and a system of studying from rich people, from magazines and articles and books and everything of that nature. And I put together this 7 points that I saw that they all seemed to have in common. And I went back to his office to tell him about the 7 points, and he kept me waiting for 4.5 hours outside in his reception area. And then he let me in, and he says, "What do you want?" And I said, "I want to show you the points that I see if you agree." He says, "What the hell is the difference if I agree or not? It's whether the marketplace agrees. Get out of my office, go to work, do the stuff. If it works, then you got it. If it doesn't work, then try again." And he kicked me out after 4.5 hours. The whole conversation was 20 seconds. He was like one of these wash on, wash off kind of guys. Okay, a little European man. Right. And he wouldn't talk to me. And so I did. I opened up my next business. I used the principles, and I opened up one of the first retail fitness stores in the world, a retail store that sells exercise equipment for the home. And using these principles, I was able to open 10 stores in 2.5 years, and I sold out to the H.J. Heinz Corporation, the ketchup people. And, I became a multimillionaire. And that was in 2.5 years. So for 10, 11 years, I didn't have more than $2,000 at a time in my bank account. And then in the 11th year, using what I had learned, I was a multimillionaire. I proceeded to lose the money.
Right. I think almost everybody does when they first make it, right? That seems to be a rite of passage. Once you make it big, one of the first things you have to do is run out and blow it, right?
I don't know if I blew it. It was actually, this is where the book comes in, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I lost the money because of my money conditioning, my conditioning around finances. And at that time, I was what we call an avoider. And so I just, money just was something that, was more ego based. I wanted to be successful, but I didn't handle it properly. And now I know one of the things you have to do with money is if you've got it, you got to handle it. And if you don't have it, you better manage it well, either way. And so I was this kind of person that was, I was a little more right brain at the time and going, okay, well, whatever, I'll just make a whole bunch of it. It won't matter. But it did matter. So, but yeah, I mean, so I sold out to H.J. Heinz and I semi-retired. And one of the biggest things that happened for me is that I guess I like to teach people because I like to learn. And I went to these seminars afterwards. I'd already, become a multimillionaire. And I was listening to these seminars that I used to listen to, and I went, this stuff just doesn't work. It's just, it's motivational, but it doesn't do anything in the real world. So I started studying accelerated learning technology, super learning, and how people learn best. Mm-hmm. And I started putting together my own little program based on what I had learned that worked in the real world. And when I started putting it out there in the market, people just seemed to resonate with it immediately because I guess truth resonates, and started doing really well with it. And so the rest is history.
Right. Well, let's go back a little bit with the 7 points that you created or that you came up with for success that you implemented in found the success in 2.5 years. What were those 7 points? Do you remember that?
Well, I mean, I get into those all the time. They're interwoven now, but I can tell you that. Okay, let me give everyone who's listening, some of these, but more than that, let me make sure that you understand like the big mistakes that can happen and why. Now, let me go to a place I'm not sure, if everybody recognizes where I've gone to in my life from there, but I lost the money. I made it back very quickly once I turned my conditioning around, my money blueprint, what it's called. And, now I've never looked back. And now, I may not be a rock star, or at least maybe the people that know me, they might know me very well or know of me. But, financially, I've been very, very, very blessed. I mean, I've got, 7 homes. I'm not a boat person. If I wanted to buy a yacht or planes, I could do that. I mean, I'm trying to get rid of homes because I never get to go to them and stuff like that. And I'm not talking about investment homes, just so I don't want to sound like I'm brash. I just want people to know that, if you're now listening to someone who's what most people would say from an entrepreneurial standpoint, a small entrepreneur, like most of the people listening, very, very wealthy. Mm-hmm. And so maybe you want to have a listen and take a little more, because I remember I didn't listen to anybody except for this really, really, really rich guy, right? Because I felt he had some credibility. So, everybody, if you're listening, if you don't believe what I'm saying, just throw it out, okay? But first, try it in your life and see how it works. And then if it doesn't work, throw it out. But try it first, okay? Mm-hmm. So the first thing that I did, the first biggest mistake I made at the time. So everyone, here's the thing. Why would you listen to T. Harv Eker? And this is the only reason. Because I was broke for 10 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was a pretty cool guy. I thought I was decently handsome. I was fairly intelligent. I could speak to people. I wasn't overly shy. I mean, I wasn't some nerd or something that couldn't do anything. I mean, most people thought I would be very successful, but I wasn't. Okay, and something wasn't working. And then I was extremely successful when I changed things up. And so what I have is the hindsight of what I was doing when I wasn't successful to what I've been doing when I am successful. And I never forget what I was like and what I was doing when I wasn't successful. So the comparison of those two things, really trying to be successful and not making it, and then becoming very successful, is what I have to offer. I can see, I have experience of what people do wrong, because I did a lot of things wrong that held me back. So one of those things is that I put most of my attention on the vehicle. I felt if I was in the right vehicle at the right time. Now, don't get me wrong. One of the principles is being in the right vehicle at the right time. That's one of the 7 principles. You got to have something that is in high demand right now if you want to do well. It sounds obvious, but most people are in businesses that are kind of behind the times instead of in front of the times. As much as in the world of demand, what do people want? It doesn't have to only be technology. It can be, yogurt shops. It can be fitness stores. It can be. I just ate yesterday. Yesterday morning at this for lunch, I had this kebab. It was a gyro, whatever they're called. Now, I don't eat that too much, and most of the time I've eaten it have been kind of iffy. I go into this place. I was in San Diego yesterday, and I flew in the morning. And I go into this place, and I cannot tell you how good this sandwich was. And the place was packed, and it was a little place, and I'm looking at this place and I'm going like, why is this so good? And she shows me they have a special toaster for the flatbread, and the way they make their kebab thing is different. It's got this, and their vegetables are over there. They have this, and their sauce is their own secret sauce. I went, this thing is unbelievably good. And right away I started asking for, do you have any other locations? Yes, 6 of them. Oh, and we're looking to open more. I go, oh, is it franchise? She goes, no, it's all family owned. I go, how long has it been? She says, 3 years. I said, how are they doing? She says, we can't stop. I mean, people they lineups out the door all day long. I went, oh my God. I said, are they looking for investors? She says, here's a phone number. And this is what I do. So, it doesn't have to be high tech to be popular, but the way they've done it and the way they packaged it is in very high demand right now. Okay, maybe in 30 years it won't be, right now it is. And so all I'm saying is that your vehicle must be in high demand. And so that was one of the principles. But I got stuck on that principle. I said, if I just find the right business, the right vehicle to get into, the right product to offer, I'm golden. I'll be rich. But guess what, Travis? That doesn't work. Mm-hmm. That doesn't work, especially not for very long, okay? Because vehicles have a tendency of changing. Their demand changes quickly, doesn't it?
Right.
And so you can't count on that. So what is I'm going to ask everyone a question. What is the number one thing that will determine whether you're successful or not? I want everyone to think about this.
That's a broad question. Can you narrow it down?
No, it is a very broad question. But the number one thing, the base overall thing that will determine if you're successful or not is only one thing, and it's not the vehicle. Here's how I'll tell you how I found out. Well, let me tell you how I found out.
I would say passion then for, if it's not the vehicle, if you're not talking about that, I believe you got to be lit up. You got to be on fire with what you're doing.
I would agree with that. And that passion is a part of what I'm talking about for sure. Absolutely. So let me tell you how I found out that it wasn't just the vehicle. Vehicle's important, okay? Mm-hmm. But there's nothing that by itself is going to make it for you. Not one thing by itself. You can have all the money in the world, throw it into your business. Guess what? Money thrown at businesses without creativity and efficiency is money thrown into a deep, dark hole, okay? Right. So it's not the money, and it's not just a vehicle. It's a lot of things have to be in place. A formula, okay? Yeah. And so bottom line, so I thought it was just a vehicle. I said, when I find the right vehicle, when I finally find it, then I'll be in great shape. And so a friend of mine phones me up. I was living in Florida at the time. He phones up. He was in California. He says, I'm in this business. And he's telling me about the business. And he said, it wasn't network marketing. It was involved in jewelry. And he says, I am killing it. And he says, I know you've been struggling, and I've been struggling too. I am killing it. He says, Harv, I'm making $50,000 a month right now. And we were both lucky to make you $2,000 a month. I went, what? What are you doing? He tells me about these certain watches that are coming from China and all this kind of thing. And, and I'm freaking out. I go, oh my God. I said, can you help me get involved? I says, you're one of my best friends. I'll help you. And so he tells me about the business, tells me where to get all the equipment, tells me how to do the watches and where to sell them, how to buy everything. Okay. I am jumping for joy. I am in heaven. This guy's my friend's making $50,000 a month. He's going to make $500,000 this year. He's killing it. And I know he's killing it. I see his new car. He got a new house already. He's fantastic. And I do it. And 3 months later, I bust out. I can't make it. I call my friend up. I said, this business is crappy. I don't know what you're talking about. I said, you lucked out. He goes, what? He says, I've doubled. I'm even doing better now. I went, what? And it just like it was a dagger right in the middle of my heart. I went, oh my God, if it's not the business and he's doing the exact same business as me and he's killing it and I'm not, then what is it? And I looked in the mirror and I said, it's got to be me.
Right.
Oh my God, Travis. I was depressed for a week. I said, wow, it's me. I'm not sure what it is about me, but it must be me. And everyone listening right now, the number one by far overall element that must be in place in the proper manner of this formula for success is you. You have to have the right you. Okay? I want everyone to think about a upside down triangle. Okay? I'm going to make it really easy for everyone. An upside down triangle with the point at the bottom. Okay? Now, on the left hand side of that triangle, on the upper portion, you put in right, RV, and that's right vehicle. That stands for right vehicle. On the right-hand side, put in RK. That stands for right knowledge. Right vehicle, right knowledge. But on the bottom, put on RY. And that bottom point is the base point, and that is the right you. You have to be the right you. What does the right you mean? It means you have to have the right mindset, the right attitude, the right character, the right beliefs. Okay. Now I don't mean to be foo woo woo, blah blah blah, all the things you go. Oh, hey, give me the exact formula for technology you use. Forget about that right now. The most important, the thing that's going to make your business is you, and the thing that's going to unmake your business is you. Now, I think everyone can relate to what I'm saying here right now, because when you get up in the morning, some days you feel amazing, and all of a sudden, if you notice, business is going pretty good that day. And another day you wake up in the morning and you feel like crap. And have you noticed, business feels like crap that day? Because, you've heard this saying, oh, fortunately or unfortunately, you take yourself with you wherever you go. So how you're feeling, how you're thinking, what you're thinking, your thoughts, and Travis, you've worked with me before. I'm a big believer in your thought patterns. And so just hear me out, everybody, because I know that you want the logical left brain stuff, but I'm telling you, we'll get to that. But I'll tell you right now, if you don't have you together, the right mindset, the right beliefs, the right attitude, the right character. Who are you? You'll never make it anywhere close to your potential, not even close. Because listen closely, and Travis, I have over 1 million students in 104 different countries, and I mostly only do international now. And so people ask me, they'll say, really, what's the critical key? And you have to understand that they'll try to trip me up, especially radio interviews on TV or CNN or whatever. They'll go, yeah, all this stuff is all foo-foo, woo-woo stuff, the mindset stuff. I go, really? Let me ask you a simple question. I was on one of those Fox Friends shows a while ago. Guy wants to trip me. He even told me he was going to trip me up. He says, let's create some drama out of this for television. I hope you don't mind. I said, I don't know. Do whatever you ask, whatever you want. He says, I don't believe in all this foo-foo, woo-woo stuff. Come on, really? If you have the right stock, if you have this, you're going to make it. If you don't, then, forget it. I said, let me ask you a simple question. What creates your results? He says, what creates? I said, your actions. Don't your actions create your results? He goes, yeah, pretty well. Yeah, your actions. I said, great. Then what creates your actions?
Your thoughts.
That's right. I said, you have a thought, you create an action, you create a result. So what's the beginning of it all? We're not going to get into all the conditioning stuff, but let's just go start with the thoughts. So the way you think determines what you do and how you do it. Yes
right.
or yes?
Yes.
Now, if you don't believe that, then you're on a different planet than me.
Right.
So if you know that your actions are important, hello, every business person knows your actions are of critical importance. What you do, what you decide to do, what you decide not to do, when to do it, how to do it. That's all comes from your thoughts. If you don't have your thoughts together and your thoughts are not supportive to your success, guess what? It ain't going to happen for you, not even close to what you want. So as successful as you are right now, you're probably the tip of the iceberg. You're probably I'm going to say this right now, and you're not going to like me for this, everybody. You are probably 1/10 to 1/100th as successful as you could be with just a small change in who you are. I'm not even talking massive changes here. A small change. So do you think like a rich person thinks? And of course, that's what the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind is all about. That's why it's so important. That's why the programs are so popular all over the world. Because people start to realize that they're not thinking rich. They don't think like rich people. Remember what he said to me, Travis? He said, if you want to be rich, you should do what rich people do. Well, how do you do what rich people do? You first have to think how rich people think. Yes or yes?
Right. I've got I need to chime in here because I completely agree. I come from a very, very tough background. I mean, gunshots every night, right? We didn't do without shoes, but we didn't have any extra, right? And I've had incredible wealth because at a very young age, now I'm not sure why I thought this, but from a very young age, I was confident that I was going to be successful. I had this just innate understanding and clarity that I was going to be successful. And I really even don't have any formal schooling. So all of it was my attitude and my belief that got me out of this very, very tough neighborhood into, extreme levels of financial success. And the only thing that explains that is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and you know what? You're probably if I always had you in a program and I had you standing up and talking to you personally, my guess is that it was something that drove you, because people who come from I'm going to say poverty, but I'm not going to, just from the general use of the term. In other words, You're not middle class. So, you're there's rich, middle class, and poor. Okay. So let's call you in the poor. Well, I came from poor also. I didn't come from middle class at the beginning. So, we worked ourselves up to middle class. So, anybody who comes from that, you're either, listen to everybody, listen very closely. Okay. Because your parents and your upbringing and what happens to you when you're young makes a huge difference. And you're either going to be exactly like one or a combination of both your parents when it comes to money, or you're going to be exactly the opposite. And my guess, Travis, is that you're one of the opposites. Mm-hmm. You went and you went to your situation. You went, I don't like this.
Right.
In your mind, you said, this isn't right for me. I'm not going to live like this later. When your parents said, you said, can I have that toy? Your parents would say, no, Travis, I'm sorry, we can't afford that right now. You said to yourself, you know what? When I get big, I'm going to have whatever I want. And you made that decision when you were very young.
That's exactly what I thought. I can remember at 9 years old thinking, this is crap. Where we're living, this is crap.
Right.
I don't know where I had the wherewithal to think of that, but at 9 years old, I was clear that this is crap and I wasn't going to put up with it when I got older. When I had a decision, when it was time for me to make the decision, I was going to decide to do something different. And so you're exactly right.
Yeah. And then other people, when they're in a situation, they go, oh, this is the way I'm supposed to be. They're the modelers. So you either model or you go opposite to one or both of your parents in your upbringing. And most people model. They look at their parents' situation, one or both of them, their father or their mother, and they go, this is the model for how life should be. And so other people look at that situation and go, ugh, I hate that. That's for them. That's not for me. And so I was one of those people myself. And so, so who you are, how you think, okay? But I want to mention one more thing before we go to another of the steps, and that is your character, everybody. Your character. So, Harv, what do you mean by character? I mean, who are you? I mean, what kind of person are you? And people say, well, do you mean perseverance? Yes, of course. Do you mean courage? Yes, of course. Do you mean kindness? Is that one of the characters? So I'm going to ask you, everybody, if I said to everyone listening, give me 5 characters of success, 5 characteristics of a person who you think would be successful. Now, here's an interesting thing. As I said, I go all over the world to teach. But if I ask the average person in America and in Europe, listen closely now, not Asia, America, Europe, South Africa, almost everywhere but Asia, what is one of the big characteristics that you need to be successful? Do you know what one of them would be?
I would say integrity. I would say integrity, being on time, being motivated, having principles that, well, which is a connotation of integrity, and being able to stand up for what you believe in. You know, that those may drift exactly from your criteria there, but how does that work for you?
Well, they're all fantastic, and they're definitely all part of the major characteristics that are part of a person who's successful. And I think, and we'll talk about the most important one, and you hit on it, so people can guess which one that one was. But let me tell you what most people would say in these countries is I'm not going to say the number one, but one of the things if you said, what is a person like who gets really, really wealthy? Do you know what they're going to say? Listen to this. They're going to say, they have to be tough and aggressive. They have to be able to not give a hoot about other people and be able to, walk all over their staff and be greedy and take what they can get. Now, okay. we're listening to this, you and me, because we come from a different ilk.
Right.
But the average person thinks that a characteristic of success is to be, and excuse my language here, a basic asshole.
Right.
Okay? That's if you're going to be successful. Now, don't you think the mentality of this country right now, if you're talking about North America, is basically, I'm going to say this right now because it's very bothersome to me, but we are still in a country of prejudice.
Right.
And it used to be the biggest prejudices used to be black and white. But you know what? That's not the biggest prejudice anymore.
Now it's money.
That's right. The biggest prejudice is rich and poor.
Right.
Poor people don't like rich people.
Right.
The country has turned against the 99%. Hey, look at me. I'm part of the 99%.
Right.
The belonging to the group of broke people. Okay? Now, I don't know why someone wants to belong to that, but people like to band together who are hurt. It's just the way it is. But they've got their rifle sights on rich people. And you know why that is? That's because the government does. And the government gets votes by demonizing rich and successful people because there's less of us. Okay?
Right.
So all the rich and successful people could vote, and that'll amount to, a few 100,000 votes, right? And the rest, there's a lot of not very rich people who will band together and go, yeah, it's the rich people that are holding us down. One of the things I want to say to everybody right now is that I'm rich now, but I was very, very broke for many, many, many years. But one thing I never recall? I never recall trying something and some rich person coming and putting me in some chains and going, you can't do that.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that didn't happen to. I didn't go to try your best to be successful prison. They didn't take me to jail for trying to be successful. Nobody ever did that.
You're right.
So I think that whole thing is complete BS. And one of the biggest things that I think is that I think people need to recognize that one of the characteristics is you're not a bad person for wanting to be rich. You're not a bad person for trying to be rich as you possibly can be. Because there's a lot of things you can do with your money to help other people, yes?
Right.
Not just buy houses and boats, right?
Yeah.
And so first mindset, first thing is to say rich is good. Everybody, to yourself or out loud, wherever you are, if you can say it. Rich is good.
Rich is good.
Is great. Rich is great.
You're tapping into exactly why so many people have a negative money blueprint is they've been indoctrinated through this demagoguing nonsense with the news and the government to the rich man is the bad man, and which is not true at all. And so why on earth would someone want to be successful if you believe that you've got to be an a-hole to be successful, right?
Right. I always say, and one of the things in the book it says is, if you think rich people admire and model other rich and successful people, and most poor people, they resent the heck out of them.
Right.
They say that they're bad. So if you think that rich people are bad in any way, shape, or form, and a lot of people have a little tinge of it, and I'll tell you how to tell in a second here. They have a little tinge of it, and you think rich people are bad in any way, shape, and you want to be a good person, then guess what? You can never be rich.
Right.
And you know how you can tell. Next time you go to a fancy restaurant, everybody, or a hotel or something, and you see where they've parked this red Ferrari or Maserati or Bentley or something right in the front, a beautiful car right in the front. When you pass by that car that's parked right in the front, where all the other ones are parked some lot somewhere, watch what you think. Because when I used to think, when I was broke, even though I wanted to be rich, I used to say, oh, what a jerk, that guy who owns this car, parks it right in front. Who the hell? I didn't even put two and two together. It's probably the valet guy that parked it. But
right.
Who the hell does he think? He probably thinks he's hot shit. Walks out of here with the woman on his arm. And
does he own this place?
Yeah, he thinks he's hot. And I didn't even know who it was. Right? I'm still already, but I already thought he was a bad person, right?
Right.
So I guess what? I could never have a Ferrari. But now when I look at it, I look at the Ferrari, I go, wow, this person probably was extremely successful and probably worked really hard for their money and made it. Bravo. If I see this person, and I've done that, I see people walking out there, I go, is that your car? And they're a little scared because they're thinking I'm going to be, and I go, yeah. I go, congratulations, whatever you did. And I had one guy say to me, you know what? Don't say congratulations because it was my father's money. I said, you know what? There's a lot of young people who took their father's money and burnt it, and there's a lot of people who went the opposite and became, wanderers and blew it and are terrible in business because they wanted to be the opposite of their father. But, you knew what to model. So congratulations. I hope you do something good with the money. And they go, well, thanks, man. Right. I will. I'm very involved in charity and what. I go, yeah, good for you. So everyone listen to this. Write it down if you have a chance. Bless that which you want. Bless that which you want.
Right.
Don't, anybody who says, if you look at somebody who's doing well, and you negate them, then guess what? You'll never do well.
Right.
So bless what you want. So I'm going to finish this topic really quickly, and I'm going to go back to the one characteristic. And you said it. Of all the characteristics you said, they were all extremely important. But everybody, the number one characteristic you must build and grow yourself on, because it comes natural, but we tend to move away from it, is the principle of integrity. And Travis, you hit it right. It was the first one you said. Now, but let me, if you don't mind, Travis, let me explain to your listeners why this principle is the number one characteristic you must develop.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Integrity. There's a lot of elements around it, but the biggest element is honesty. And honesty comes from doing what you said you're going to do. Keep your word. Keeping your word. Okay. So what does that mean? And you said punctuality. That's one of them. So it means when you say something, everybody, listen closely. When you say something, it happens. It happens. All right. The easiest one. Okay, Fred, let's meet tomorrow at Starbucks for a little meeting and go over this stuff at 9:30 in the morning. Okay? Fred says, fine. Let's do it. All right, good. You said or you agreed to 9:30 in the morning. That is your word now.
Right.
See, most people don't look at it as their word.
Mm-hmm.
That now is your word. You said those words. Okay, I'll see you at 9:30. Great. Okay, it's over now. That is your word now. That is your character now. So you show up at 9:45, and you say to Fred, "Oh shit, I'm sorry. Traffic was crazy. And Fred was there at 9:30. I have a simple question for you. What do you think Fred thinks of you?" Now, you're going to say, "Well, no, it's no big deal. Fred's a cool guy. No big deal." Okay, fine. Let's turn it around, guys. Let's everybody turn it around. You're there at 9:30, and Fred is not there at 9:30. And have you noticed at 9:30, you look at your watch, you're there. 9:35, you're there, they're not. 9:38, you look at your watch, they're not there. 9:40, what's going through your mind? Is this person coming?
Right.
And now at 9:42, what's going through your mind? Wow, this person are they standing me up? Like, did they not hear 9:30? Did they not agree to 9:30? Why are they not here? Yeah, I can have a coffee. Yeah, I can do my work. But it's not about that. It's about them. They lied to me.
Yeah, it's the principle of things.
I don't trust. Listen, here's the word now, everybody. I don't trust that when they say 9:30, they mean it. They're going to keep their word. And what the mind does is generalizes, and our character generalizes. So what happens is, I don't trust. Now listen, everybody. I don't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is the number one thing you need for people to buy from you, everyone?
Trust.
To buy your services.
Trust.
Thank you, Travis. Trust. Mm-hmm. And as soon as you don't do what you said you're going to do in any way, shape, or form, that trust starts to diminish. And it's very hard to get back. Oh, Mr. Jones, hey, thank you for inquiring to our program. I'm going to send out this informational package, or I'm going to email you this information, and I'll have it to you today. Great. Okay. Thank you, Bob. That's super. And today comes and goes, and you don't do it. You say, "Oh, what the hell? I'm tired, and I'll do it tomorrow." And guess what? In my books, whoever does that, and Travis, I hope you don't mind I say it the way I feel it. The person who says that and says, "Okay, I'll email it to you today," and you don't, and you say, "I'll just slough it off to tomorrow," that's a loser.
Right.
That's a loser. Yeah. I don't mean that you're a complete loser and you're destitute. I mean that you lose at the game of life. You lost my trust. Right. You're a loser in the game of trust. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do business. So I hear from someone that was supposed to email me the information yesterday, and I don't get it till today. Even if I like it, you know what? I don't buy it. Something else will go wrong with this person.
Right.
I'm dealing with people here.
It's an indicator of future performance.
Absolutely. How you do in our Travis, in our programs, we have a saying that I'm famous for, and that saying is, "How you do anything is how you do everything."
And I believe that to the core.
When someone lies to me by not being on time, now you say, "Well, Harv, you're really tough, right?" No. If you phone me and make a new agreement, and I agree to it, then I'm good. So if you're not going to be on time at 9:30. I need a phone call at 9:30 or before that.
Right.
Not 9:31. Sorry, not 9:31. 9:25. Harv, I really apologize. I misjudged the traffic. There's an accident on the road.
Right.
Regardless, there's no excuses. I totally apologize. I will not be able to make it for 9:30. Would it be okay if we changed it to 9:45? I'm so sorry. That's the earliest I can get there. I'm crawling on the road right now. There's just no way to get through. If I could have a bike, I would. Would 9:45 still work for you? And I'm so sorry.
Right.
John, don't worry about it. I'm good. 9:45 is good. Thank you so much for calling me and making a new agreement that we can both live with.
Yeah, it actually bolsters confidence when that happens, because you see, oh, this guy is taking his word that serious. Even if I'm going to be 4 minutes late, I'll take your example. And so say I said I was going to be there at 9:30. If I'm going to be there at 9:34, I would still call you at 9:25 or 9:29 and say, "Harv, this may sound trivial, but I'm running 4 minutes behind, maybe 5. And that bolsters the confidence, especially in a brand new relationship, right?
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go one more thing for all the listeners here. So What is one of the things you just said? You're right on mark here, Travis, so much, because the words you're not saying that much, but the words you're saying are perfect, because you said it bolsters the confidence of the person who's doing business with you. Now, everybody listen up. Who else, when you keep your word, does it bolster the confidence of?
Oh, what do you mean? Who else does it? Say that again.
When you keep your word, whatever it is, I'll send this to you tomorrow, and you send it. I'll be there at 9:30, and you're there at 9:30. When you do what you say you're going to do, who else's confidence rises?
Why, I think it reinforces who you are, your being, your mindset, you
exactly
in general.
You. One of the biggest characteristics to success is confidence, yes?
Right.
And people go, well, I'm confident or I'm not confident. But we all know the truth is that we're all confident sometimes and not confident other times, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody's going to BS us, right? Because we know the truth is that in certain situations I'm very confident. In other situations I'm not so confident, right?
Right.
But there's a general confidence that we have of how we feel about ourselves. And how we feel about ourselves has an element of confidence to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is either grows or diminishes based on your integrity, based on how much, and here's why, based on how much you trust yourself. Because it's not just other people trusting you when you keep your word you keep your word. It's whether you trust you. So when you know that you're a person that can be trusted, you keep your word no matter what. You know what? I'm getting a little fat. For this week, I'm not going to eat anything after 8 o'clock at night. You say that to yourself. It's okay to say it to yourself, okay? But that's still your word. And then the next day, 9:30 comes and you're having your milk and cookies. You lied. You lied to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be trusted. You cannot trust yourself. Do you think your confidence in yourself goes up or down?
It goes down, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't trust yourself. So you lose, you start chipping away at your confidence and how you feel about yourself. And you know what? That then starts to chip away at your business because you're less confident. You trust yourself less. You're less willing to take on new things. You're less willing to call new people. You're less willing to do everything because your confidence is shaken. Now, everybody, let's take this to the next level. What are we going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? The minute you listen to this, from here on in, you're going to make a commitment. And the commitment is simply this. From this moment on, and I'm going to give you an out because you're new at it, to the best of my ability, in brackets, okay? From this moment on, I make a declaration that I keep my word no matter what. I keep my word to others, and I keep my word to myself. Period. 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 When I say something, it happens. And if you can do that, my friends, I can talk to you about marketing, and I can talk to you about systems, and I can talk about all that other stuff. Great. It's all important. It's all wonderful. But guess what? It's not 100th as important as what we just covered right this second. If you will be a person of word, a person of integrity, a person that when you say something, it happens, period, your confidence and your trust in yourself will skyrocket, and you will do things, you will say things, you will take actions you would have never taken before. And you will come up with, you will love yourself, you will trust yourself, you will look in the mirror differently at yourself. Other people will come off of that energy. You'll resonate a different energy. Other people will naturally be attracted to you. And as Stuart Wilde says, when they show up, bill them.
Right. I've got to point something out to you that you don't know about, and it will be a kind of a tease for everybody that's listening that I think is really in line with what you're talking about. You created a test that I don't remember the name of the test, but basically I think it's your money blueprint test, right? Where it's something like 100 questions and you grade 1 to 10 where you are on each of those.
Your money beliefs, right? What do you think about money?
Money beliefs, yeah. And so, so I was in a room with probably 500 people, and me and one other person had a score of like a 10 or something, or lower than a 10, because the guy put it on, had everybody raise their hand. Everybody has this range, this range, this range, and it's been several years back. And the interesting thing that he said is, me and the other guy, he said, I'm going to venture to guess that you two guys are financially successful, possibly even millionaires. And the test was dead on. And it was very interesting how people around me had a score of 150, 180, and they had so many negative things tied to their actions, their beliefs, their mind, all of those things. And am I remembering this correct? Is it doesn't the score range from like 1 to 200 or something like that?
Yeah, if you add them up, of course, yeah, it can, because you're going from 1 to 10 in about 70 questions, so it can be higher than that.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Absolutely, you're the way you think is going to determine everything.
Right.
So that's but people don't think about it. They go, come on, Harv, all this mind stuff and this character stuff, that's all woo-woo crap. That's not important. The cutting the sales techniques and marketing techniques and all these other things, that's what's important. Let me ask you a question, everybody who thinks that. That's great. I'm glad you think that. And I say that all the left brain stuff and all the logical elements and the tools are extremely important. They very much are. Let me ask you this question. You have a computer and you're looking at the keyboard and you press the letter R as in Robert. I'm looking at my computer. R as in Robert. And when you press R, H comes up. You press R again, and H comes up. R again, H comes up. You go, what the hell's wrong with this computer? So what do? Do you take that? You think that you start rubbing out the R on the computer board with an eraser? Do you write in H there? Like, what do you do?
No.
Where's the problem? Is the problem in the keys?
No, you rewire it. The plastic? Yeah, you get it.
Is the problem in the shell? Exactly. Is the problem in the shell of the computer? Is it in the hardware at all? No. If you want to change the output of the hardware, you need to go in, rewire the software.
Right.
We're talking about the software of success here.
Exactly.
If you don't rewire the software, the hardware is going to show whatever the software has in it. Yes.
Right.
It's the hardware is really dumb. It's just a screen, shows whatever the software says.
Right.
So you guys can think about the woo. Oh, Harv didn't really teach anything about marketing and this and that and the other thing. Oh yeah, you know what? Maybe that's intentional. Maybe for a change, you guys need to really recognize who you are and how you are, and your characteristics and how you think, and watch yourself think. That's the key. That's a key thing.
Yeah, and I wanted to move from the. It's not as woo woo as most people think it is, and you're so brilliant at putting a finer point on that, and it's just so important that people go back and do that deeper inner work on kind of the molecules of how you think and what you think and all of those other things, because you really do need to get the micro together before you start focusing on the macro anyways, right?
Absolutely. So let me ask you this question. How much longer do we have together?
Oh, we've probably 10, 15 minutes.
All right. So I would love to give your listeners some of the other side of it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. You said, what do you want to talk about? I said, I just want to give your listeners as best value as I can for their precious time that they spent listening to this, and that's some things that are going to help them raise their success. So,
yeah, right, definitely.
So Number one, watch what you think. Who you are determines your success level. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you are the root cause of your success or unsuccess.
Right.
And if you build yourself up better, you become a better, bigger, better, stronger person. You will become more successful. The biggest thing in who you are, of course, is watch your thoughts. Make sure you're not thinking negatively about rich people. Love being rich. Say, I choose rich. I want to be rich. I love being rich. Even the richer, the better. And then make sure that you give some of that money to help other people. Okay, simple as that. You'll feel better about it, and you'll make more. Number two point that we covered, that's a big one, is integrity. Mm-hmm. Keep your word. Period. If you say something, it's over. There's nothing else to talk. No excuses. No nothing. Do what you said you're going to do, and do it when you said you're going to do it. Period. Over and out. And if you do that, you will watch your confidence rise, your trust rise. People will love who you are. They'll love dealing with you. You will become a big gazillionaire, okay? Just off of that. All right. Number three here, big point I want to stress here. Okay. Everyone is somewhat of an entrepreneur who's listening of some way, shape, or form. Okay. Now, so do you know the definition of an entrepreneur? Now, listen closely. If you were in a room right now, I'd ask you to raise your hand if you want to learn how to make a lot of money. And when I ask that question in my seminar rooms all over the world, guess what? Every hand goes up. How many of you want to learn exactly how to make a lot of money? Guess what? All the hands go up. Wow, good. I guess it's a pretty popular topic.
Right.
Okay, so very, very quickly, I could spend days explaining it all, each of these elements.
I know you could.
I want to give you some of the key elements that you need to be thinking about if you want to make a lot of money. Okay, is everyone listening? Do I have your attention?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. The first thing to think about is when I say make a lot of money. That's a misnomer right there. Everyone, listen closely. The first thing to make a lot of money is you have to understand money and how it's made. And the first thing about making money is you don't make money. The only people who ever make money work at the mint. They make money. Mm-hmm. We don't make money. What do? We earn money. Okay. So the number one thing here is we're not talking about making money. We're talking about earning money. And this isn't a big stock and how to, make money by investing and, picking the right stock and blah, blah, blah. That's not about that. This is earning. How do you earn a lot of money? Entrepreneurs earn their money. Okay, that's a big difference. All right. Now, earning money. So the definition, I'm going to cut right to the chase. The definition, and if you can write this down, everybody who's listening, it depends where you are, of course, or talking into your smartphone or whatever. The definition of an entrepreneur is, listen closely, a person who solves problems for people, okay, solves problems for people for profit or for pay. For profit or for pay. So what are you? You are a problem what? Solver. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you a question. Why do people, I already gave you the answer, why would someone give you their money other than for charity? Because you did what? Because
you solved their problem.
Exactly. It might be a big problem. It might be a little problem. But you're solving a problem. Maybe they're bored and you have a bar and they come to you and drink or something like that, or they go for dinner just because they can't cook in the house and they don't have time, or whatever it is. Whatever you do, the number one thing you need to remember is that you get paid for solving problems for people. Okay? Right. So the first thing you have to do is, number one, everyone write this down again. It is imperative that you are solving a problem that you love to solve. So a lot of people are in businesses that don't do as well as they could do because, as you pointed out, number one, a while ago, Travis, is that they don't really have the passion for it, or they don't have the passion for it anymore.
Right.
So they don't really give a hoot. So the problem that they're solving, they don't really care that much. It's like, I make money. I can make money by doing this, and I do make a decent living by doing this, and people get help, but you don't really. It's not your thing. It doesn't resonate with your energy. Let me say this right now. That's the wrong problem for you to be solving for people. You need to. One of the things. Remember, I talked about this kebab shop. You say, mm-hmm. What problem do they solve? You know what? there was only 2 stores in the. I was running late, just meaning I had to be home at 4:00 and meet Michelle, and it was already at 3:00. It was a 45-minute drive. I had like 15 minutes to gulp something down for lunch. There was a Starbucks and there was this kebab shop, and I wasn't going to drink coffee on an empty stomach. For me, that really gives me indigestion. I said, and thank God it was there. That's all I could say. In the plaza that I was little in, there's all these big box furniture stores, and this one kebab. I was going, oh my God, thank God somebody put some food here, and because normally I wouldn't even eat anything because I wouldn't eat that stuff. But when I saw somebody else come out with that, I went, that looks actually pretty good. I went in there, it was healthy, it was good. I went, this is fantastic. That guy solved my problem. Okay, so he's a problem solver too, and so literally, you are solving a problem for somebody, and you need to focus. And you need to focus on this problem. So number one, is this the problem in the world that you should be solving right now in your life? Do you care about this problem? Does it resonate with you? Look, I know right now I'm looking outside at the ocean and my lawn and everything. There's a bunch of gardeners. There's 9 women right now, Hawaiian women that are working on, I guess they're weeding my property. I don't know what they're doing. They got little knives and all that. But listen, they're solving a problem for me. Otherwise, I'm going to have weeds all over the place. And 9 women are coming to solve my problem right now in the garden right in front of me here. So that's great. I'm happy for that. And I'm glad they're doing that. But would I do that? No. I don't even know the difference between this grass and that plant and that plant. That's not Harv. That's not my gift. So are you solving the right problem? Okay, number one. So you must solve the right problem for you. It must be a passion for you. You must love that arena. Okay, you must love solving that problem for people. Number 2, you must be, write this down, everyone. You must be crystal clear about exactly the problem that you solve for people. Can you articulate it? And do you articulate it well? Because if you cannot articulate in a problem format what you do for people, guess what? You're missing the boat, because you will not be able to message it in a way that people will relate to it.
Right.
Okay. So, there's we have, so someone, let's say, for example, I don't know, they're overweight, and someone is selling them some overweight supplement of sorts. I'm just making this up. And they go, these supplements are made with the finest ingredients, and they help people lose weight and blah, blah, blah. And that's all fine and dandy. Okay, that's the problem. But listen, when you're messaging to somebody, I'm going to give you like $1 million lesson right now, everybody, so listen closely. The more you can message, and in your very first line of your message, use the problem, the better you'll do. Because it's simple. The simpler you can make the problem, and the more emotion you can put into it in the second line, and the more solution-oriented your third line can be, you've got the formula for success. So listen. So how about something like, if you're getting fat, if you're having a hard time looking in the mirror, if you don't like the way you look anymore, if your belly is growing faster than whatever it is, and you can really put a dagger right in the heart of that problem, you're going to capture the people you want's attention. Mm-hmm. And you're going to capture it in a way they go, and they're going to stop. So all you have to say is this: problem opening, and the next line, basically, if you're not going to exaggerate the problem, and I mean, in other words, intensify it. Are you overweight? Are you having a hard time feeling good about what you see in the mirror? Are you having a hard time feeling good about yourself? I have a solution for you. It's called blah, blah, blah. That's how easy it is, everybody. Problem solution. Now, what's the issue? The issue is most people cannot articulate their problem. They don't even know what problem they solve for people. Yeah, we give fast service. Okay, is it the fastest service? Is that the main thing you solve for people? Well, no, we just give fast service. What is the main problem you solve for people? Okay, and if you cannot identify from their standpoint, their point of view, I have a problem. I am looking for a solution. Talk to me. Show me that you understand my problem exactly the way I understand it.
Right.
You can do that, everybody. You will be a rock star. You will get rich. So problem, then solution. Clear. Love the problem that you're solving. In other words, love solving that for people. Be clear about what you solve. Okay. And then here's the next one. Quality. How well do you solve it for people? How good a job do you really do for people? Do you do it okay? Do you do it fairly good? Do you do it amazingly good? Do you support your clients? Not what you would like to do, but what you really do. Because in business, I'm not an idiot, I hope. In business, it's a lot easier to say something than to do something.
Right.
Oh, yeah, we give the best service. We give the best support.
Job quality is number one. All of those things that everybody's been, it's a bunch of crap. Then
you get an email that, hey, this thing didn't work, or my taxes. And I have a meeting with I sold one of my companies. The taxes have come back to me to haunt me 3 times. My accountant, Mr. Brilliant Accountant, told me exactly how I should sell it. Now I paid triple the tax that I would have originally. And this guy thinks he's the king of the world. He's the best accountant in the world. He's the one who gave me advice. And now the tax department has disallowed everything. Right. And it's like, what? I lost like about $8 million because of this guy, right?
Right.
So don't tell me how great he is. Okay, this is my result. Okay, he hurt me. He didn't help me.
Right.
So bottom line here is, how well do you solve what you do? Now, so the quality of your performance, in other words, how good are you at what you do? How good are you? Are you the best in the world at what you do? I'm in the seminar business. Am I the best in the world at what I do? Well, let me tell you something, my friends. I attempt to be. I actually attempt to be. Well, Harv, that's a little ridiculous. There's a lot of people in the world. That's right. And I'm going to be at the top of that heap.
Well, Harv, let me step in there because I can tell you that I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on my education, and not the traditional education through colleges. I've through going to events, through mixing and mingling. And I got to tell you, your stuff is at the top. So from an outside perspective, I know that you are one of the best there. So just to give you that feedback.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do consider myself that because I work at that.
Right.
That's what I try to do. And I'm writing a new program now. People have heard little bits and glimmers of the program, and they go, "That's amazing. It's ready to go." I go, "It's not ready." They go, "It's ready." I all the time. I go, "No, I'm still filling it this, the right order, this." And then okay, well, put out the seminar. I go, "No. I'm going to first call 10 friends to spend 2 days with me and give me feedback." I go, Harv, you don't need to do that. Everything you do is the top of the line. People are going to love it. They'll pay for it. I go, that's not what I'm interested in. I want to know before I walk out there on stage the first time, this is shit hot. This is the best program I've ever written in my life. And people are going to be going, oh my God, you totally solved my problem here. You said this was going to help me, and it really helped me in the real world. So that's what I go after. Let me give you one more point. I don't want to run out of time. So quality. How good are you at what you do? Now listen closely. If you want to know how good you are at what you do, all else being equal, here's the simplest test. Everyone listen closely. You're not going to like it, but here it is. Look at your paycheck. Look at your income. That'll tell you how good you are at what you do. If you don't like your income, you better get better at what you do. Better get better at solving the problem that you solve. Okay. Now, in sports, we see this all the time, Travis, don't we? Mm-hmm. The people who are the best in their field, in their sport, they get paid the most, all intents and purposes. The best quarterback gets paid the most. The worst quarterback does not get paid the most, okay? The best running back with the most yards gets paid the most. The worst does not. But in business, it's the same thing. To get paid the best, you must be the best. Commit today, everybody, not just to your integrity, but commit today to say, you know what? I'm going to study my field. I'm going to study what I do. I'm going to study marketing. I'm going to study this. I'm going to study it. I'm going to get better and better and better at what I do, and I'm going to become the best in the world at it. And when you do that, my friends, your income will skyrocket. Right. Now, last piece here. Last one we have to leave everyone with, okay? So we've got, basically loving
what you do, making sure the problem you solve is the problem you're supposed to be solving in the world, or at least one of them, okay, resonating with it, being able to articulate the problem that you solve very, very clearly, and focusing on that to the client. That here's the problem. If you've got this problem, I have the solution. As simple as that. The quality of how well you solve that problem, meaning how good are you at what you do, basically. And here's the last one. Okay, so we now know, and there's a few other pieces that we don't have time to cover, but maybe next time we'll get on again with you. So now there's and I'll bring it in here right now because I don't want to miss any part for your listeners. So excuse me for speaking quickly, everybody. I apologize, but I want you to get this. All right. So we know that if we solve it, the way to earn money, we know the answer to that question is to solve a problem for someone. You solve a problem, as in one problem for one person, they will give you money. So now you know how to earn money. I want money. I earn money by solving one problem for one person. Good. So I want to earn more than that amount of money. How do I earn more amount of money? More money. Well, I solve that. Listen close, everybody. Same problem for another person. Oh, now I have 2 units. Now I have $2. Okay, great. Good. I had $1, now I have $2. How do I earn more? I solve the same problem for 10 people. How do I earn more? 100 people. How do I earn more? 1,000 people. So I'm just going to dumb this down and simplify it. And of course, you can get into back ends and all that kind of stuff, but let's keep it simple right now so everybody gets it. So to earn some money, to earn a bit of one money, I solve this problem for one person. To earn some money, I solve this problem for some people. And now, I asked you if you want to earn a lot of money. And so you said yes. So now I have an easy question for you. Now, you know how to earn one money. You know how to earn some money. How do you earn a lot of money?
For a lot of people.
Solve that problem for a lot of people.
Right.
Okay. So if you want to, now here's what most people do. What most people do is they say, I want to be rich. I want to earn a lot of money. And you know what they focus on? Money. But
not solving the problem. Right.
Exactly. And you know what? 90% of your listeners do this. Everyone in the world does this. Everybody, don't feel bad. They think about money.
Right.
How do I make more money? How do I earn more money? But they don't get to the root of the what. See, listen, everybody. Money is the result. If you're thinking about money, it's already too late.
Right.
Money is what money. Another word for money is reward for what? For solving that problem for me. Okay.
Right.
So you don't. So everyone, you want the biggest thing out of today so far. Don't think about money if you want to earn a lot of money. Think about money as the reward for what? Solving this problem for a lot of people. So now we know that if we solve this problem for a lot of people, we're going to get rich, and we will. Now, here's the big problem we have with that. The problem for most people is they have not set up their business in such a way that they can solve this problem for a lot of people.
Right.
They've set up their business in a way where they are so involved in their business that without them or with the way that they've structured their business, it cannot be solved for thousands and thousands.
Yeah, it's not scalable. Right.
That's right.
Right.
And so they're going, well, I have to be there, or, my assistant, or whatever, however they've structured it. They can't go to the next level of solve the problem for a lot of people.
Right.
So they can never make a lot of money. So this is where words like systemizing comes in. Because if you don't systemize your business so that it can work without you, guess what? You are doomed.
Right.
You are doomed to solving the problem for some people, and you will make some money.
Yeah.
But if you want to earn a lot of money, you have to solve for a lot of people. That means you have to get out of the frickin' way.
I gotta completely agree with you. I've also got a segue into tying things up. I mean, so obviously Harv is brilliant, and I've been to several of Harv's events, and there's just really goes deep. And Harv, one of the things I love about what you do is you speak to really all levels of entrepreneurs. And so, we normally have a lightning round, but you were just in such great flow there that I didn't want to interrupt that and segue to the lightning round. So we'll just cut that out in this episode. I think you and I could do several episodes together. However, if you don't mind, I know that you put something special together, and I'm all about trying to help as many entrepreneurs out there take it to that next level. Can you tell us how people can connect with you, and also give us the details of what that was that you had put together for us?
All right. I appreciate that, because I think you can tell that I like to help people, because I'm very fortunate to where I am now.
Right.
And I just wish people would have told me these things when I was struggling for those years. Right. So bottom line, I think I mentioned that I've been working on some new programming and whatnot, and I have 19 different programs I've written over the last 23 years. And that's kind of what I do. I write programs, and hopefully they help a lot of people. But the newest program that I have, it's just taken off like crazy. And it's actually made for people like me and you and entrepreneurs. It's made for that. Mm-hmm. Because the problem with most people is that we work really hard and we are hoping to have a great life, but we want it all to come together. We want our business life to get together, and our financial life to be together, and our relationship life to be together, and our fitness and our health. And we want all these things, but then we get stuck, too much in business, or now we took too much time off and the business is suffering. And it's like, oh my God, like when will it just all get together for a change, right? When will all the balls be working nicely? Mm-hmm. And when will they stay working nicely? I can get them working nicely for like a day, and then it starts falling apart. I think everybody knows what I mean here. Right. And that's what I call like total life success. And so I put together this system, and I work in systems, and it is actually a 7-step system. And I've been working on this for years on myself, and now I finally put it out there. And man, all I can say is that I'm smiling, because people are left and right telling me how amazing this is working in their life. And the program is called the 3-Day Life Makeover. And 3 days isn't a full 3 days. It's actually 3 90-minute online webinars. That's all the 3 days is. And then you do something from each webinar that takes you somewhere between usually a minute to 10 minutes, and you choose what that is, okay? So it's made for busy people. It's for busy people who want to get their entire life together. They want to be successful, but they want their whole life to work. And I'm going to not get into the details of it, but all I can tell you is that it changed my life completely. It's changed. I did the program originally about 8 months ago for a group of friends, changed their life completely. They referred other friends. I didn't put it out to the public yet. Changed their life completely. And I'm talking like, and I never say this word, I'm talking 100% out of 100%. Anybody who does the 3 90-minute webinars and does the 1 minute or 3 minutes, whatever afterwards, everything changes for them. Now, does it ever go back to the way it was? Not usually. It might start slipping there, but you have this system now to go right back to this perfectly balanced, beautiful, successful life. And the trick is that how am I going to achieve wealth and success and still have the rest of my life working beautifully in balance? People don't realize it's hard to do that, right? It's like, well, how do I spend time with my kids and get rich? How do I spend time with my wife and get rich? And this system does it. It's brilliant, and all I can tell you is that it works. And as a thank you, and as a tribute to you, Travis, and your show, the normal tuition for the program is $397. I mean, it's probably worth $10,000, but what can you charge for three 90-minute webinars? It's basically $400. You know what I want to do? I want to gift everyone who listens to your podcast, everyone who listens to this, the entire 3-Day Life Makeover webinar program for free.
Oh, I love it.
No strings attached. I just want to help people. All right. Listen to these things. Do your 1 minute homework type of thing, and don't be afraid of it, because you're going to choose what it is, but it's going to be an action that it's going to take you to the roof. And the only thing you have to do to make sure you get a complimentary is go to this special site and do it very quickly. And I say quickly because the webinars get filled up. Because here's the thing. On the webinar, guess what? You're not only going to learn the skills of the system to design your life the way you want it, but I do every part of the formula with you right there, right then on the webinar.
Cool.
I do. You're hearing me on it. Okay, I do all the parts of this thing with you. So you're not left, oh, here's the formula, go do it.
Right.
And do it for homework. We already know people don't do anything unless they're guided through it. So you do it right there. You have everything's right in front of you. There's even little music for you to write with while you're writing your 2 lines here and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's a little mini seminar right online, and it's brilliant.
Cool.
So brilliant meaning it works for people. So all you have to do right now is go to the internet and enter in this website, and it's www.3daylifemakeover.com 3daylifemakeover.com/radio. So again, that's www.3daylifemakeover.com/radio. And I think, I hope people have been served today, and that they can really make a difference of what we've worked with them today on. And I can promise you this, you get on this 3-Day Life Makeover, and I'm smiling. I'm smiling because I know what's going to happen. and I know the letters you're going to write in. One of the things is we asked you to write in what happened for you that day, because you did the little action. And so we get to see them all. And I'm smiling because every single person on the call, we get these lists of people, and the things people do are just mind-blowing, and then it becomes habitual, and their life changes. And it's a system for getting your total life success. How do you have all of the parts of your life working, your health and your family and your relationship and all that stuff, and have enough time and energy for your business to create wealth? How do you do that?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Excellent. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. Remember that you can find all of the links to the books and the resources mentioned in this show in the show notes. Just go to rockstarentrepreneur.network.com. It's a fairly new site that we've been building out that's completely focused on giving you the resources to grow your business. Now, before I close the show today, I want to read a quote from Confucius. And the quote reads, "The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential, these are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence." This is Travis Lane Jenkins signing off for now. To your incredible success, my friend. Take care.